Professor Asitukide from here in Utah today. The American Leadership class joins with you in your wonderful speech, motivating and inspiring. And it's with that inspiration that we must apply our hearts and our efforts and our thoughts about where we can go. And the subject of strategic divergence of all of our combined efforts and thoughts as a moving force to improve our country, to improve ourselves. We must be the example to others. And as I read a story this morning, in 1864 in the United States, a man was born named George Washington Carver.
Yep.
He was a black man, and he grew, and he was he went to Tuskegee University in the United States,
Yep.
where he studied agriculture. A very humble business, very humble study. But he also was a man that believed in reading the Bible. As he read the pages of the Bible, he realized that there's a common message excuse me, that comes from reading the Bible. And that is that, excuse me, God talks to us individually and collectively, but first individually. And we must humble ourselves so that we can receive personal revelation through the Spirit from God about what we should do in our daily lives, our ordinary daily lives. So George Washington Carver was studying agriculture, and he was from the South and from Alabama. And he realized that when you grow cotton depletes the soil of nitrogen. But he learned that growing peanuts puts nitrogen back in the soil. And so there's a balance to life. There's a balance to everything around us. And we might not hear it. We might only see it. But we must pay attention. And as he invented ways to grow peanuts more efficiently, he learned that there were more than 36 different ways you can use peanuts. You can you can crush them and make peanut butter to eat, which is high in protein. It's inexpensive. You can use the pigments from peanuts to make crayons, which are non-toxic, but all the different colors, to make the world a nicer place, so that children in their schools can use crayons. And so George Washington Carver learned that God would inspire him to know what to do in the very moment to be able to help out his countrymen that had just suffered the Civil War in the United States, and that the great Abraham Lincoln, the U.S. president, unified the country. But he unified it because he believed in the principles of the Bible and applied them individually. He was sacrificed. He was a martyr to the cause of civil liberty. And we too must, in our own personal lives, I'm saying we need to change. We need to improve. We need to repent. We need to individually open up our Bibles, and we need to read the Word of God so that we can be inspired about what we should do, who we should get involved with, as we try to promote the justice, and that all men and women are created equal, that we all have our own roles, and that we too can contribute individually to the great work that God would have us do. And we must study, and that's part of what the American Leadership class is doing, is to invite you to improve your leadership skills and your communication skills. So improve your communication skills with God, improve them with the people around you, and then ask how you can be an asset to bringing goodness and justice to the world around you and to the country that which you stand, and you will be blessed. And I am grateful for your listening today, and I want you to write down, as Dr. Sajinja asked you to get a pen out, I'm asking you now, students, this morning, if you will please write down 5 goals of things that you will do in the near future, in this week, and then in the next month, and then see what progress God has helped you achieve in making these things happen. And it will make a change that will lead to improved governance and happiness and better governance. I see it, I know it. I've participated in government since I was 16 years old. I've been an advocate in my state government, my local government, and in Washington. And I've seen how important education is. So be educated and be well. Asante, we'll see you later. Thank you very much, Dr. Sajinja. I submit back to you.
Thank you very much, Professor Jim. Professor Jim is going to be at our People Power National Unity Platform conference in Boston. We're inviting you all to join, number 1. Number 2, I'm also inviting you to join our American leadership class that Professor Jim has told you. Our next cohort is starting in September. So reach out to Dorcas, we'll tell you more information, how to enroll, and then you can be part of this long journey of American Leadership Academy. This is going to be our 4th year, and I thought I could throw that one in, and inviting you to join to our amazing professors that teach servant leadership, communication skills, entrepreneurship, business leadership, political advocacy, rule of law, good democracy and governance and constitutionalism. So if you know family or a friend that would like to join, please reach out. Now I'd like to open it up to students for questions or comments. Noah, your hand is up, and then I'll hand it over to Dorcas for further taking us through. Noah, comment or question, please.
Thank you so much, Professor. My question is, you said we are actually at the crossroad at this time, which is true. And today's topic of convergence, to me, it reflects on what's happening with the new parties. What would you take or advise us, depending on these new parties coming? It looks like everyone is now against Noob or Bobby Wine. In the new parties, they're all fighting Noob. So what can we do best, or how can we go about it, or how can we handle this new pressure?
Noah, you asked a very good question. Actually, I was asked that same question from a professor in New York. I'm right now here in Los Angeles, California, meeting with some of our comrades and a delegation team and in rallying support. Here is my take. This is my personal take. Number 1, all these political entities that are mushrooming up are wanting and calling for relevancy.
Yeah.
Number 1. Number 2, all these political mushrooming entities want to have a pie in the big steak. In other words, the deep steak of the junta is going to supply them money to fight against His Excellency. Number 3, where is their funding going to come from? Why now? The biggest money makers in Uganda make money during election time.
Yeah, true.
They wait for the next 3 years and then look into the big pot. They all come up with proposals, budgets. They infringe numbers of the population in their political parties. They make make fake signatures and all sorts of things. But we've seen this play game before. But the cry is, where is your sense of responsibility and moral virtues and ethics? How is history going to be rewritten of you who want to sabotage an election, who want to demoralize a campaign, who want personal greed against country first? In other words, we know how we are going to deal with these political mushrooms that are coming up. They have their liberty and freedom. Let them do whatever they want to do. But it goes back to, whom do you trust that will bring liberty and freedom and rescue your country? Is it them, or is it us? And at the end of the day, when the music stops and the chairs are turned away, His Excellency wins. Hence, to preserve, to protect, to rescue the vote, and to count it openly. And whatever the bouncers and the shenanigans who are hooping from one political party to another will, in the end of the broad daylight, be shameful of their tactics. That's all what I can say. In other words, fear not. We have seen that ball game before. It won't be the end. They'll still keep mushrooming up. But we know our cards, and we keep our cards and our privacy and our secrecy and our confidentiality to our chest. But we know what our tactics are going to be come 2026. The other question that comes to me, Professor Sejinja, why are we going into elections when we know the junta is going to steal? Well, if we don't, then how else are we going to justify that to the public, to the world, that look at him again, he did it again? And then how do we protest this time in a more clandestine perspective, quote unquote? And so my call to you all is to mobilize, to organize, to fund. When our leaders send out a call to fundraising for our elections, we are fighting with the junta who prints his own money. As the money is coming from us in the diaspora and from local governments and from local people, poor peasants who fund our movement. When that call comes, please give what you can. And I know, I can assure you, we are in it to win it. And should they dare to touch their hands in the hot pot, the water will burn. And I'll leave it at that. Next question or comment? Thanks, Noah. Marie, please make a question or comment. Marie, unmute. Question or comment?
Thank you very much, and thank you for the good job you are doing. Maybe my question is far from what you've been teaching, but it's still in the same direction.
Please
First of all, I'm wondering, this American visa ban, you are having a conference that is on the way in August? Hello?
Yes, yeah. We're hearing you, Marie.
Yeah, thank you. You have this conference, convention in August. How will it be with people who will be asking for the visas? And also, I'm also wondering, how is it going to be in later period with our president? Will it not be affecting our leaders from Uganda and so on? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Amari. You asked a very excellent question about Trump's visa ban and how that is going to affect our movement and flow of information and personnel on the ground, and our comrades and our people. Of course, it's going to affect some of our teachers. It's going to affect some of our students that will be coming to attend our American leadership conferences. However, we have justified to the U.S. Embassy in Uganda that we are a fully registered political entity in Uganda. We have different leaders from all over the globe, and this is our annual convention that they are asking for visas to come to attend the convention and the conference, and so and also to participate in some of our leadership programs at Harvard University and in Boston and in other areas. And we already have some students that are coming next week and other weeks starting this month of July. And so, yes, you are right. Some of it is going to, the visa ban is going to affect them, but to majority that need invitation letters and all those, our diaspora people power diaspora leadership is handling that on the diplomatic core and on the strategic outlook of it, and yes, it's going to affect us, especially next year, and depending on the results of the election next year, it is even going to be tantamount to a disorderly way of how things are going to turn out. So we want, between this window between August and December, to make sure that all our people are having their visas, and that won't affect them also to coming the World Cup next year. But also, we are pleading that our country, Uganda, is not listed on the visa ban yet. But we don't know the outcome, and I'll leave it at that. But we are pushing forward for people that are coming to come regardless of the fear and worry, and we'll make sure that we back them up with the logistical paperwork that will be needed to attend the convention, because it is going to be the greatest convention. It's going to be the convention before the elections, and so a lot of people are going to be coming, both local, domestic, and those from Europe, and it's going to be, and we are doing all the best we can to call them to register, to call them to express their interest, and to help them in every shape or way, in the way we can best help them. Thank you very much, Marie, for that question. Next question, comment.
Yeah,
All right.
thank you very much.
Yes,
Professor Ginger. Can you hear me?
yes, we can hear you clearly. Go ahead, please.
Thank you very much for your presentation. My question denotes to the mindset change that affects people's decision to get involved or not to be involved. I mean, not to get involved, and that underpins on the decision that we make as Ugandans, and in the process that raises fear because of the mindset that we might be holding, or that we have, on what is uncertain that might happen or might not happen. So how do you deal with that, and how do you help the people on this platform strengthen their mindset and mental resilience to overcome the uncertainties, the future uncertainties, and what might be causing the fear, to liberate themselves?
Thank you so much. You ask a very good question, and I've always pondered that question when some of my own colleagues here in the US, they even get scared to be involved in our people power protests for fear that, oh, the dictator is going to see me, oh, the dictator has my photo, oh, I'm going to be arrested upon arrival at Entebbe airport, oh, don't take my picture. Oh, don't, I'm going to give you a donation, but don't register my name. The fear within makes me sad and makes me wonder, being in a European country, being in the United States, and you still fear a junta from your motherland to speak up. That to me doesn't rhyme well in my mind, whatever the fear and the justification may be. Number one. Number two, the mental resiliency. Why do we do the things we do? My 15-year-old daughter Lindiwe asks me, Dad, you wake up in the morning, you go in the library, you start juggling your language that we don't understand, and you spend there hours and hours, and you neglect us. And so, in a soothing voice of a father, I say, we are fighting for a country that I was born, and it is too good to relax and be comfortable and not do what I can on my end, because you won't be able to do it. The mental burnout that calls for all of us sometimes shatters us and says, when will we overcome? Captain Sejinja, when are we winning? When are we taking government over? When is the revolution going to end? Revolutions like ours take years, but the price is worthwhile. Number one, the mental stigma becomes so much, and it requires one to go even to see a social worker and a mental meltdown because of what we do. Many of my comrades in the US have said, Professor, give me 1 month, let me recoup, let me get better and get back. You take care of yourself, your own wellness, your own you. When you are well, the revolution will be well. But at the same time, there are some people that were once with us. They got so comfortable, or they were given an envelope, or they were promised their sons to be given a state house scholarship, or if they don't say this, they're going to take their land, whatever the intimidation and fear comes. And then you find that those very people are calling their families in the US, oh, Mr. Katerega, please don't get involved in people power or no, because you know what? People came at our home in Machingi and they were threatening us ABCD, and so Zoom keeps mute. And so those are there. Who cares? But again, we continue to be courageous. We continue to be stronger. We continue to have nightmares of when will the revolution end. But if we don't, some of us are harassed, some of us are abused, some of us are tarnished, blackmailed, character assassination. But whatever happens, we still stay the course. We still stay the course regardless of the false propaganda narratives on the media. We still stay the course regardless of what has begotten on our families' home. We still stay the course, because if we don't, our country will continue to degenerate, and hence the country that we so love won't have people to return to. Next question. Thanks for that question. Next question or comment.
Okay, kali abyebyo obiwulidde bulungi. Omulamwa gwa kwestra, omulamwa gwa kwenunula, omulamwa gwa kwejja mu fuga B. Tubeere mu nsi ennungi, tubeere mu nsi ensuubiza, ffe tuyagaleko ng'amawanga amalala bwe geeyagala, naffe tufune obwetwaze obwa nnamaddala